Ready for the video?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's go. Sex before marriage, and I was like, well, you wouldn't buy a car before you test drive it, right? And then I got kicked out of the class in the MTV music videos and how they're not pure, bad, good.
Don't think of this time.
Thought about my ex again. I have no idea.
Present practice. What's conscious? This is Vish and
McKaylyn.
And today we'll be responding to Sadhguru's video on
Is Kamasutra pornography?
So today I'm here with McKaylyn. Want to introduce yourself?
I'm McKaylyn. I am a digital marketer and freelance social media manager and creative enabler.
She definitely is a creative enabler. She's been really helpful and kind and just sharing a lot of her wisdom as well as helping me share my creativity. So check her stuff out, which will all be
Down below.
Down below. I am an aspiring yogi. I've been meditating for over 4 years now. Love all things meditation, yoga, and wisdom-based. And this is going to be a very interesting video. Before we start, what are your thoughts on Kamasutra as well as porn?
Honestly, I have no thoughts on it right now. I haven't read a lot on Kamasutra. Obviously know what porn is. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just, looking forward to hearing what the video has to say.
Absolutely. Definitely going to be an interesting one. And I do want to quickly mention how it's cool that wisdom literally covers everything, all aspects of life, and breaks down the stigmas that we have about these topics, which we try to hush about. But it's important to be open about everything.
Yeah.
And so would love to hear also your perspective on this question of if it is porn in the comments down below. With that,
let's get started.
Perfect.
The thing is, you need to understand this culture. Unfortunately, it's all been messed up and botched up. We are a godless country, we are a country without any morals. There's no morality in this country. We could live like this and really live well because there was a huge rise of consciousness. Everything could be looked at simply the way it is. People were ruled by their consciousness, not by morality, not by the fear of punishment, simply by the sense of living. So because there was such a society, anything could be talked anywhere and there was no issue. Well, that's not the condition right now, that's a different thing. But this is how this culture and this nation evolved. It took thousands of years of work to get this mass of people to that state. But slowly that is changing because now we have taken in Western morality where something is good, something is bad, something is God, something is devil, something is high, something is low, something is pure, something is impure. There was no such thing in this culture. We just saw life just the way it is. How much of what to do in your life is an individual choice. Because we clearly understood the nature of human mind, in this mind if you say, something is bad, do not think about it, that will become the full-time job in the minds of your friends.
You agree?
Absolutely.
But any mind,
Sure.
if you say, don't think about this, only that they will think.
Don't think of a pink elephant.
People
Try
who
it.
did not understand the nature of human mind brought morality into life. People who understood the mind the way it is, in this culture we never said anything is bad or good. We just said, this is how it is. How much of what you do in your life is an individual choice. How much this person eats and how much that person eats is an individual choice. But now Western doctors are telling us, all of us eat so many calories. It's just rubbish. That's not how the way the body works. If you eat, let us say you eat 1 kilogram of food, same type of food, let's say the same nourishment. Both of you may be same body weight, maybe, let's say. Both of you are same body weight, both of you eat 1 kilogram of food, it'll not go well. In one person, this food may go well. In another person, maybe only half a kilogram goes well and they'll still maintain weight.
I agree with that.
This is a fact. You try it and see, take 10 people and see, this is a fact. But now they're telling you, mass-producing everything, you know. Everybody must eat this many calories of food, only then you'll have this much energy. This is simplistic nonsense, especially when it comes to subjective dimensions of who you are. This morality of everybody must do this, everybody must do that, never worked. Different people's needs are different. And we have produced so many perverted human beings on the planet because we just said something is wrong and you should not think about it. If you just let it be, reproductive organs are a small part of who you are. But what should be in the reproductive organ has been very efficiently pushed up into the human head. Now sexuality is not happening in their bodies, it's happening in their head all the time. In your body, it's a natural process. In your head, it's a sickness. Yes? In your body,
It's like going back to like the money and sex talk.
Exactly.
it is just a natural process, we're all born out of it. There's nothing right about it, wrong about it, it's just one little aspect of our life. If we resist it, it'll rise into our head and now it looks like entire life is just about that. Today, I would say, tell me if I'm exaggerating the percentage, today I would say 95% of human energy is either invested in sex or money.
He says this in another video.
These are two small aspects
We
of
did.
your life. One is about your survival, another is a certain aspect of your physiology, okay? It has become so big because somebody told you these two things are wrong. We never looked at it that way, so somebody wrote a text on that. What are all the different ways it happens? What are all the different types of bodies that people have? And compatibility of two different individuals, everything in explicit detail somebody wrote because they never thought… I mean, they're not looking at like this, they did not think it's pornography, you understand? They're just describing life as it is. So today's eyes look at Kamasutra as an authentication of pornography, okay? No, that's not what it is. They're just talking about it like they would have talked about anything, because it's just one more thing. They did not think it's everything, they saw it as just one more thing, so they wrote it like that. So it's like your physics, chemistry textbook, just like that they wrote a sexual textbook.
That's an interesting perspective.
They didn't make much bones out of it. But now in today's world, now people are looking at it like it's some kind of a endorsement for all the perversions they have.
So let's talk about it.
Yeah.
What'd you think?
I mean, yeah, like the black and white, like it's either good or it's bad or, you know, whatever. It's like, I mean, that's such a… something like this is so… differs differently in different cultures, right? Like he mentioned, like the Western culture has made it so that like everyone's a pervert. Whereas like in other cultures, it's like, oh, like this is just what it is and like we can just talk about it, so yeah.
Exactly, and no, that's very true. It's definitely, I think, been quite stigmatized, if that's a word, or it's become a stigma, and I vibe with it. No, I connect with it very well. I mean, especially in a lot of… I've seen whether it's Asian households or even just in general. I mean, maybe would love to hear your perspective about these topics, whether it's porn or sex or just even puberty, right, growing up. What was that like for you growing in a white American household?
I mean, yeah, it's like, you know, you dress modestly because you don't want to like draw attention to yourself or give anybody the wrong idea. And, you know, it was very like, you know, sexes for after marriage. Yeah. And I actually got in trouble in a moral issues class. I went to private Catholic school and we were talking about like, you know, sex before marriage. And I was like, well, you wouldn't like buy a car before you test drive it, right? And then I got kicked out of the class. But I mean, I think I made a valid point.
No, that's I appreciate you sharing that. And again, that's the beauty of this stuff, right? And just like wisdom. I mean, those questions should be endorsed, right? Not necessarily shunned.
Right.
So no, that was super cool. Definitely brave of you as well in that classroom setting. How old were you?
Like 15.
Okay, got you. But yeah, and I just want to definitely shed more light to this, right? Because again, like she mentioned, especially in the Western viewpoint, or even Eastern, modern day, whether it's Asian, Indian, whatever, there's just so much of an overemphasis, I think, on just like your studies and education that like everything else in life is neglected and not talked about, and these things are shunned again, which I don't think you're doing a justice, right?
Right.
And it goes on to show the polarity of that type of background, as well as I think like modern day mainstream media, which like over exaggerates that stuff. What do you think about that polarity of different emphases on these topics?
Can you say one more time?
Yeah, basically what I was asking was how we tend to, like coming back from these family backgrounds, have a very conservative viewpoint on it. But then I feel like in the mainstream media, it's a bit too liberal in the sense that like, not liberal is a bad or good thing, but
like more loose, free, yeah.
Yeah, but almost like it's the only thing they're talking about. As he says, money and sex is the only thing talked about in the media. What do you think about that polarity or that like, very contradicting perspectives on the same thing?
Yeah, I mean, I think it can definitely cause some tensions. I think, you think back to like MTV back in the day, right? Like in like the MTV music videos, and how like, like parents were always like, don't watch that, and like, that's inappropriate. And it's like, you're kind of just like preventing, like sheltering your child or whatever, like in that moment. But it's like, it's inevitable, and like people are gonna like learn about this stuff as they grow older and experience things. And there's this polarity where it's like, pure, not pure, bad, good. And it's just like, I feel like we're smart enough as a civilization to be able to find some gray area in these kinds of topics and have meaningful discussions about them. Exactly.
No, there's no doubt. I agree with that wholeheartedly. And I mean, again, there's really not much even to say here. It just comes down to, let's talk about it, right? I mean, talk about everything equally. There's no need to over perverterize. Okay, I'm making these words up now, whatever that means. Make perverted is what I'm trying to say. But there's no reason to also over glorify these things as well, right? I mean, as he says, there's a place and time for all of that, but doesn't mean that you got to be thinking about it all the time. And as he says, I mean, I think it's a really cool analogy, which I think we both connected with, which is, whatever you like kind of resist will persist, and that's the nature of the mind.
Yeah.
What do you think about that whole, like, don't think of this type of statement, but you think about that all the time?
Yeah, it's like, if you have like an ex or something and you're like, and people are like, don't think about your ex, or don't like, dwell on that, then it's just like, thought about my ex again. Yeah. And then there's kind of like shame around it too, because people like, I mean, if not even just like exes, but like anything that people are like, oh, like you shouldn't like think about that so much, or like shouldn't just put so much time into that. And then it's like when you do, there's like this like shame and like this like, well, okay, like I guess I shouldn't. And then maybe you end up like holding something in that you'd like to talk about because you don't want to like disappoint people or get more like backlash onto yourself.
Yeah, no, that is very true. And it's like a toxic cycle, right? Yeah. Like with you having gone through that, and then the shame, and then it just constantly feels itself. And I just think it's super simple, right? Talk about it when it's needed, and when it's not necessary. It just is what it is. It is what it is, and life is a game. Have fun. I have this had this analogy that just, I don't know, rang within me the other day, which was along the lines of like, what is the purpose of life, right? And I'm sure it's a question that we all kind of think about and maybe have thought about before. Before I actually get into sharing what I had just envisioned, what do you think about that? What do you think the point of life is? And that's a very big question. What do you think? I have no idea. Okay. I think like what we can hope for in life is to be happy and to
be healthy, successful, you know, the things that people want. But I think ultimately it's to gain experiences and to learn, and also like perhaps leaving behind like a good legacy, whether that's, you know, something that's, you know, like a material whatever, or just like wisdom, or like something that, you know, your family gets to like carry on, I think is maybe what it's about. But that's a loaded question.
Yes, it definitely is, but I think it was super beautiful what you shared, and definitely connecting with that. I agree with the aspect of leaving the world a better place than it was when you got here, right? I mean, I don't think you or I did and picked like us getting here, but we're here, and it's a privilege. And so I think it's of our utmost responsibility to make sure whenever we leave, whenever that happens, to leave it a better place. Before we get into me sharing my view on that, would love to hear what you think about this question. I know it's super random and really loaded, as she said, but just comment down your opinion in the comments down below. We'll give you a second. Okay, so this is what I thought of when I was thinking about it, which was, have you seen Iron Man?
Yeah.
Okay, so Iron Man, imagine you had this Iron Man suit yourself, right? And it's a cool suit, right? You can do so many things. But the day you get it, you just stare at it and you're just questioning, what is the point of the suit? It's eventually gonna break down. Is there even a point of using it once? And you get all these questions, right? Like, I don't know. And you just stare at it, and eventually, you know, it breaks down itself, right? I think the same principle applies to our life, right? I don't think it's bad to think of these questions, but to only ponder and think about philosophy, I think you're wasting your existential life. We have the Iron Man suit. Our Iron Man suit is this body, it's this mind, it's this energy that we have. There's so many things that we can be doing. With the suit, you could be, I mean, the Iron Man suit, you could be flying, you could be saving people's lives, just having fun. There's no need to just think about that, just live it. And I think the same principle applies to us. What do you think about that analogy?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like, you know, use what you have in you to make stuff happen. Yeah.
So just thinking, because thinking is not real. It's the living that matters.
Exactly. Yep.
So thank you so much, McKaylyn, seriously, for being here. She was super kind and helping to make these videos happen. She truly is a creative enabler. So definitely check her stuff out, follow her Instagram, and remind them what that is.
It's at Hello McKaylyn on Instagram.
All of it will be linked down below. And yeah, would love to hear again what your perspective was on this topic, this question, anything we've shared in the comments down below. And with that, make a great day, take it joyfully, and stay conscious. Awesome job, McKaylyn.
I thought you were going to high five me. Thank you.
Now we can.
There we go. Don't leave me hanging.